Chapter 2. Everything happened at once. Excruciating agony flashed along nerves, dancing synapses sending devastating messages to muscles. Stephanie's collapse was instantaneous, a complete system failure, like the flick of a switch. Her mind raced in confusion, unable to make sense of the pain and the total loss of physical control. The one impulse that remained was the need to communicate what had happened. She was convinced she was shouting Jimmy's name, even as she hit the ground hard. But what she heard was a meaningless mangle of sound, the kind of dream mumble people made when they were having a nightmare. As suddenly as the pain had hit, it disappeared. Stephanie raised her head, bewildered. She paid no attention to the ring of Transport Security Administration officers surrounding her, at a cautious distance. She was oblivious to the rubbernecking passengers, their exclamations or their camera phones. She strained to see Jimmy and caught a glimpse of his bright red Arsenal shirt next to the black and blue of a TSA uniform. They were turning off the main concourse, disappearing from sight. Ignoring the residual ache in her muscles, Stephanie pushed herself upright and launched herself in the crucial direction, a primal roar emerging from her throat. She didn't even complete the first stride. This time, the taser blast was longer, the disarticulation more thorough. This time, once the initial disabling effect was over, she remained disorientated and weak. 2 officers hauled her to her feet and dragged her down the concourse in the direction opposite to where she'd last seen Jimmy. With the last of her energy, Stephanie tried to struggle free. "Give it up!" one of the officers restraining her yelled. "Cuff her!" a second, more authoritative voice said. Stephanie felt her arms yanked behind her, and the cold bracelet of metal handcuffs closed round each wrist. Now they were moving more quickly, hustling her down a side hallway and through a door. They dropped her on a plastic chair, her arms uncomfortably pulled over its back. Her head felt like the gears were slipping their cogs. She couldn't get a grip on her thoughts. A stocky Hispanic woman in TSA uniform stepped in front of her. Her expression was rock-hard and grim, but her eyes seemed considering. "You'll feel confused for a while. It'll pass. You're not dying. You're not even hurt. Not like my colleague with the busted nose. Do not attempt to leave this room. You will be prevented if you do." "Someone kidnapped my son." The words came out thick and slurred. She sounded drunk and incomprehensible to her own ears. She couldn't even focus enough to read the woman's name badge. "I'll be back to interview you shortly," the woman said, following her colleagues towards the door. "Wait!" Stephanie yelled. "My boy! Somebody took my boy!" The woman didn't even break stride on her way out. Now, the overwhelming sensation in Stephanie's body was the cold clutch of fear in her chest. Never mind what the taser had done to her body and her mind. Terror was all she understood at that moment. Her initial panic had altered, taking with it the urgency for flight or fight. Now the apprehension felt like a chill lump in her chest, weighing down her heart and making it hard to breathe. As thoughts and emotions tumbled inside her, Stephanie forced herself to focus on one solid piece of information. Someone had walked away from the security area with Jimmy. A stranger had whisked him away without a ripple in the surface of normality. How could that have happened? And why wouldn't they listen to her? She had to get out of there, had to make someone in authority understand that something terrible had happened, was still happening right now. Stephanie struggled against the back of the chair, trying to release her arms. But the more she wrestled against the rigid plastic, the more trammelled she felt. At last she realised the design of the chair meant she couldn't push her arms far enough behind her to clear its back. The fact that it was bolted to the floor meant she couldn't even get to her feet and take it with her.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.